Hey everyone, Richard Bass here from Thriving with Richard Bass. Today we're diving into a topic that's absolutely essential for parents and educators, understanding natural and logical consequences and how to use them effectively with our neurodivergent kids, including autistic students. As a special education teacher, I've seen firsthand how these strategies can empower kids to learn and grow while also maintaining their dignity and self-esteem. Let's start with the basics. Natural consequences are what happen automatically without any intervention. For example, if a student refuses to wear a coat at recess, they feel cold. If they don't eat lunch, they feel hungry. These consequences don't require us to step in. They're simply a result of the child's actions. On the other hand, logical consequences are ones we create as adults to connect the behavior to a learning moment. In my classroom, I've seen countless examples of both. Let me share one. An autistic student kept forgetting to return their library books on time. The natural consequence was that they couldn't check out new books during library time. That simple connection, I can't get new books until I bring the old ones back, was a powerful lesson. No reminders or lectures were necessary. When do natural consequences work best? Natural consequences are incredibly effective, but only in the right circumstances. They work best when the situation is safe. For example, letting a child experience hunger is safe, but letting them wander into the street is not. The lesson is immediate. Feeling cold because they didn't wear a coat is an instant connection that helps kids understand the outcome of their choices. The child can process and understand the connection. This is especially important for autistic students who may need more explicit explanation to make the connection between their actions and the result. When are logical consequences necessary? Sometimes natural consequences aren't enough. That's when logical consequences come into play. Logical consequences are directly tied to the behavior and offer a clear cause and effect relationship. Let's break this down with a few examples. Scenario 1. Ignoring time limits. An autistic student is enjoying their iPad time, but repeatedly ignores the agreed upon time limit. Natural consequence, there isn't one that's immediate or meaningful. Logical consequence, when we can't follow our iPad time agreement, we need to take a break from devices for the rest of the class period. Tomorrow, we'll try again. Here's the key. The consequence is fair, proportional, and directly tied to the behavior. It teaches responsibility without shaming the student. Scenario 2. Disorganized materials. A student with ADHD repeatedly leaves their materials scattered around the classroom. Natural consequence. Items might get lost or damaged, but this doesn't necessarily help them learn organization. Logical consequence. Materials that aren't stored properly need to stay on the teacher's desk. You can earn them back by showing me your organization plan. This approach creates a clear expectation while giving the student an opportunity to practice the skill they're struggling with. In this case, organization. Addressing challenges with neurodivergent kids. One of the most important lessons I've learned as a special education teacher is that behaviors often have underlying causes. What looks like defiance or laziness is often something else entirely. Executive functioning challenges, difficulty starting or completing tasks, sensory overwhelm, bright lights, loud sounds, or crowded spaces can make it hard to focus or regulate emotions. Anxiety, fear of failure or making mistakes can lead to avoidance behaviors. Processing difficulties, needing more time to understand instructions or consequences. Instead of jumping to conclusions, I always start with a question. What do you need to make this work? Sometimes this simple step can prevent the need for consequences altogether. Consequences for incomplete assignments. Let's take a common challenge, incomplete assignments. Here's how to apply both types of consequences. Natural consequence. The work doesn't get finished, which means the student can't fully participate in a group project or may need to complete the work during free time. Logical consequence. When we don't complete our work during work time, we need to use free time to catch up before choosing other activities. However, with autistic students, it's crucial to dig deeper. Are they overwhelmed by the task? Do they need clearer instructions or a visual schedule? Are they struggling with focus because of sensory overload? By addressing these factors, we can often set them up for success before consequences are needed. Device use, natural versus logical consequences. Device use is a hot topic for many parents and educators, so let's break it down. Natural consequences. If they use up their screen time too quickly, they experience boredom. If they spend too much time on devices, they might miss out on group activities. Logical consequences. A clear connection between responsibility and privilege, like earning screen time by completing tasks. Visual timers and schedules to help manage time. Earn time systems where kids can gain extra minutes for positive behavior. Here's a tip. For autistic students, visual supports like timers and schedules are especially helpful. They take the guesswork out of time management and provide a clear structure to follow. The power of the reset button. Here's a strategy that has worked wonders in my classroom. The reset button. Instead of jumping to consequences, I give my students the option to reset. I say, let's hit the reset button and start fresh. This simple phrase has a powerful impact. It gives the child the chance to recognize what went wrong, process their emotions without fear of punishment, make a new choice, learn from the experience without shame. 3 key principles for effective consequences. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with 3 key principles for using consequences effectively. Make them immediate and relevant. Consequences are most effective when they happen right after the behavior and are directly tied to it. Keep them proportional to the situation. Avoid overreacting. The goal is to teach, not punish. Focus on learning, not perfection. Our kids aren't going to get it right every time, and that's okay. The goal is progress, not perfection. Final thoughts. At the end of the day, consequences are just one tool in our toolbox. They work best when paired with patience, understanding, and a willingness to meet our kids where they are. For autistic students and other neurodivergent kids, this means being flexible, clear, and compassionate. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to Thriving with Richard Bass. Drop a comment below sharing your experiences with natural and logical consequences. What's worked for your family or classroom? And don't forget to share this video with anyone who might find it useful. See you in the next video.